I am in a good mood. I am in a good mood, and I swear to God, if it gets ruined, I am going to cry. Hiya, and welcome back to Tennis Ace, the game that teaches us that Shoichi doesn't know how to have a proper fucking conversation. Anyways, let's just hop right in. Right here, right now, I feel safe and secure. In his arms, I feel safe and secure. That will never fix. I shuffle around the kitchen, getting several things ready for breakfast so we can all leave in time. The smell of grilled fish, miso soup, and soon freshly cooked rice all permeate the air, actually raising my spirits a little. Thankfully, I do have more help than usual this morning. Do I have to pull up the sensor? I'm pulling up the sensor. Because I don't fucking trust you, Shoichi! Or should I call... Okay, he's wearing pants. Thank God. Rice is done. Want me to serve your bowl too? That would be great, thanks. I'm just going to check on the mackerel. The mackerel smells different. Did you add something to it? Yeah, I brushed a soy sauce and miso glaze on it for a change. Ooh, that's why it smelled so good. Okay, I'm almost done. Can you go call Mom? She should be out of the bath by now. I'll make your plate for you in the meantime. Sure, I'm surprised she's still home, though. It's the little miracles we ought to be glad for. Good point. It's the little miracles we ought to be glad for. Since when have you been such an optimist? Since I got to wake up in bed next to my boyfriend, whom I love very, very much. Ah, shucks, I wasn't expecting that. Makes it hard to make fun of you. You guys... At least wait until I'm fully out of the room before you say stuff like that. God damn it, Aki. Shush, Aki, this doesn't concern you. Yeah. Only after he says so do I hear his footsteps running up the stairs. Did he wait around for a second just so we could hear what we'd talk about? Jeez, how sneaky is he? I think I preferred it when he didn't know about us. Or at least pretended not to know. Hard to be sure which it is with him. Sorry. I guess this is what you can expect when you finally tell your mom and Hitoka-chan. Hence why I'm not doing that anytime soon. Seriously, you can't keep it a secret forever. Look who's talking. You haven't told your mom when we all know she'd be fine with it. Hitoka will freak. I'm sure there will be a not too small amount of name-calling in my future. It can't be that bad. Sure, leave it to a teenage girl to be understanding of her brother stabbing her in the back and going out with the guy she likes. I bet she'll give us flowers. Okay, I see your point, but there has to be a nicer way to go about it. Maybe you leave out the part about stabbing her in the back when you tell her. I know, I'll stay out of it. But you can't keep it a secret forever, you know? Even I've been working up the courage to tell Mom. I'm painfully aware of that. Just give me time to work something out. That doesn't make me feel optimistic at all. That said, I do have to ask, when will you tell your mom about us? Maybe not the day after you spent the night over. I don't want her connecting any dots and making assumptions about what we were up to last night. You know what? Good point. Speaking of her, Shoichi and I both hear the sound of footsteps echoing even a little louder than normal, even. Walking down the stairs and toward the kitchen, making us both shut up reflexively. Aki, stop stomping. Okay. Was he stomping on his way down to make sure we knew they were coming? I have to give it to him. The kid really is slick for his age. Morning, Mom. Good morning, Misaki-san. Good morning, both of you. I just finished serving breakfast. Will you have time to eat with us? Yes, I believe so. Great, glad to hear it. It's all looking so good. Thanks, I did my best. Mackerel? I didn't know we still had any. I was going to pick some up at the market tonight. Don't worry about it. I noticed we ran out, so I bought some before making dinner yesterday. There was also some salted salmon in the fridge for tomorrow. Is that so? Thank you, Shoichi. You're always so helpful. Like I said, I do my best. After making sure the table is properly set and I didn't forget anything, the four of us each take a seat to have our food. I have to say, this fish is calling to me right now. So, how have you been, Shoichi-kun? I didn't have a chance to catch you last night. I've been fine, thank you for asking. Things are a bit busy this time of year, but hopefully summer vacation will start soon and give me a bit of a breather. And what of your parents and sister? How are they doing? Dad's had a lot on his plate recently. I think his company is downsizing after some big contracts of theirs got canceled or something, so he's been trying to stay on top of it. Oh dear, is he okay? I'm not sure. He's mentioned a few times over the years that middle management is the first to go and all. But from what he said, most of the people let go were rung under him in the ladder. A few of his direct reports, too. Jesus, that's awful! I think his company has been struggling for a bit now. Would explain why he's been in an especially bad mood for the last few months. That's awful. I really hope things pull through for him, and that those who were let go manage to land on their feet. The same here. What of your mother? I haven't heard much about Sachiko-san. Is she still working at the hospital? Oh, I'm not sure. I've been really busy lately. I guess I haven't kept in touch with Mom much. That's no good. I'm sure she must worry about you. You should talk to her when you can. Yeah. Of course. Oh man, this is uncomfortable now knowing what I know. What else is new, Shoni? How's practice been lately? Oh yes, you're the captain of your club, aren't you? How's that been going? Mom. Actually, I'm going to be stopping by the gym later to drop in my resignation letter. You are? It's time. I've been putting it off long enough. If the team is supposed to have a chance later this year, they need a proper captain. But it's already decided, Yoichi. I appreciate the concern, but it's fine. I have way too much on my plate to keep doing it like this. Are you sure about this, Shoichi-kun? You've always loved volleyball. No, I didn't. Is that an option? I'm sure it's something I have to do. I didn't know it was an option! I'm sorry! I didn't know it was an option! I'm sure it's something I have to do. I can't focus on my college exams and my student council duties while also doing it. I get that. I get that something has to give. But why does it have to be the thing you actually like? I'm sorry to hear that, Shoichi-kun. I remember senior year, having to study for entrance exams really made me feel like my entire life was put on hold, so I understand. I don't know. It was last year. It was last year. And I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see it. No, I don't want to rewind, because these saves took a lot to make. We're gonna have to go back, aren't we? We're gonna have to go back, aren't we? Fuck my life. Fuck my life. Yes, skip to character selection. Indeed. Fuck my life. Do we gotta ask about it or let it go? I'm gonna scream. I am going to scream at the top of my lungs. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Son of a bitch. Hang on. No, sorry, I can't just let it pass that easily. Yeah, I was afraid you'd say that. Still was worth a shot. Seriously, Shoichi. She's your little sister. How could it be wrong to invite her over? It's complicated. Are you sure you're not doing this for your own reasons? What? How could you think that? What else am I supposed to think? As far as I know, you've had very little contact with her lately. I might not be great at keeping up with people either, but I've messaged her a few times at least. Wait, you've been talking to my sister? Are you really not surprised? I've known her for almost as long as I've known you. Of course she'd also be my friend. In between complaining about me not going to see her often, which I totally take responsibility for, she said you also haven't visited her and your mom for a few months already. She told me she's only seen you a couple of times since classes started. I let that go because I just assumed you were busy with schoolwork in your club, but now you're not even inviting her? That's not... I'm not... Look, Shoichi, I can't organize my thoughts properly. I'm just surprised you take offense to this, though, what with how close you are to Aki. Probably sounds alien to you that I wouldn't see Hitoka all that often. But it's just awkward. Awkward? Ever since the divorce, things have been awkward between us. She may not look like it, but Hitoka still resents me for choosing to live with Dad. But I assure you that's not why I didn't want to invite her. It's just that she really does love Dad, that much I'm sure of. I just don't think he'd be in the right headspace to deal with her. She's his daughter. That's not an excuse. You're making things too difficult here. Can you just take my word that I know my family better than you just as once? Please. Okay. Fine, just this once. Thanks, I owe you one. Still can't accept it. Alright. Rooftop sounds extra inviting right now, although I'm pretty sure I'd get yelled at if I went there. That's never stopped me before. Hang on. After a little bit of talking, Shoichi and I decided to buy the ingredients we need to make the food for the party. Even though I insisted I could do it by myself, Shoichi still decided that he should tag along. As a result, hey, maybe we should put some of this in the yakisoba. That's coffee. Not even good quality coffee. It's just some bad espresso powder. But it should make for a fun change of flavor, right? This guy's cooking sense truly is something to marvel at. Or at least the lack of it. Okay, then how about this? I think it'd be good on the okonomiyaki. Bean sprouts? You want me to put bean sprouts on the okonomiyaki? Yeah, I think the crunchiness could make for a very fun texture. Your head is too messed up! Shoichi, I'm just going to follow my own recipes. I don't want any of those fun additions. And could you at least consider using different ingredients to make nutritious meals? Such as... this gelatin powder should add tons of protein to the food. What the hell is wrong with you? You're just grabbing whatever you see on the shelves and trying to get me to put it in the food. I can't just go along with it, otherwise we'd end up with mystery food X for the party, and I refuse to be an accessory to a mass murder. This is why I don't want to bring you along in the first place. What happened? Come on, you at least have to be open to suggestions. Your suggestions would completely kill the party, so I think I'll pass. Didn't we agree that I'd be the one in charge of the food? Do you want me to start having opinions about the decor? Point taken. Honestly, if I let him, he'd just do everything by himself. While I'm comfortable letting him deal with guests and decoration, if he had his hand in anything food-related, we'd all die. You're so fussy. Why do you always feel the need to have a hand in everything? Wouldn't go so far as to say everything. You're the one who asked me to help organize this party, and yet you're trying to tell me how to do it. What else am I supposed to call it? Point taken. Shoichi grabs another bag from the nearby shelf, studying it with interest. What is it this time? I haven't said a word. You think I was born yesterday? I know you were just looking for an opportunity to say something. Spit it out. You think this powdered milk would be good on the okonomiyaki? For a topping? I guess could work as on a sweet version of... No, I mean for the batter for the regular ones. You know I don't use milk for my batter recipe. I just use homemade beef stock. But this is low sugar and low fat. So is the stock. Also, what are you, a grandma? Since when do you care about sugar and fat? We're gonna have a bunch of 40-year-old men in there. You should trim on the fats and sugar so they don't end up putting on weight. I have a feeling that if you said something like that to them, they'd call you a sissy. I'm not a sissy, I'm an athlete. Athletes care about their weight. Try telling that to a bunch of grumpy 40-year-old men. Noted. Hang on, I'm curious about something, so I'm gonna check. And okay, that confirmed it. Every time Shoichi picks something new up from the shelves, I already start sweating bullets thinking of how I'm going to shut down his next dumb idea. Luckily, he seems to behave himself for the most part, keeping opinions and suggestions to a minimum. Of course, I still get the occasional gem like, hey, it says here that this flour's been bleached. Shouldn't we go with a different one then? You're not supposed to put bleach on your food. It's like all common sense eludes him as soon as it involves food. You're not supposed to be a stupid person! Stop saying stupid things! Once the painful ordeal of that was shopping is finally over, I guide Shoichi to the cake shop where I'm supposed to place our order. This place looks pretty good. Yeah, it's my mom's favorite shop. Their cakes are kind of expensive, but you can always count on them where quality is concerned. That's good. Dad would absolutely destroy us if we bought cheap cake. What's this? I spent 2 months away and you can't even buy me decent cake. What's with this runny frosting and this texture that looks like cardboard? Why does this thing taste like shoe? It's sad that I can totally imagine him saying that. The fact that we already read all this, I'm just gonna... Hang on. We already read all this. Hang on. Because his penis... I pulled up the sensor. Because I know his penis is going to be on display, and I'd rather not deal with Shoichi's penis being on screen. Because I don't know about you, but I kind of don't want to see Shoichi's penis. I don't exactly want to show his penis on screen. Wait, what the fuck? Hang on. Shit. We're gonna be the better man. We're just doing all this. Yes, you can call us you. I don't want to spank Haruki. God damn. Right off the bat, we're going with Wolfstar. Yoichi, your cooking sucks. We're telling Saya the truth. You know what? Fuck your father, Yoichi. Not Yoichi. Shoichi. We're gonna watch a comedy. We're just going through the motions right now. I have it pulled up on my phone. You know what? Fuck you, Takahiko. Fuck you. We're gonna be firm. No, I have to say it. Because if I don't, you'll just refuse outright. Can't be so stubborn over the stupidest things, although it might be a mean... Thank you for the raid. Oh my god, thank you. Can't be so stubborn over the stupidest things, although it might be a mean thing to call this stupid. I get that you have your own hang-ups about it, but enough is enough. Look, I know you feel guilty about it. I get it. Maybe I'm the lucky one since I never had to deal with that sort of thing. Maybe I just don't understand what you went through. But that's not what I... But you can't just keep hiding from it. The longer you stay away, the harder it'll be to reconnect. Besides, you do want to see her, don't you? We're just gonna skip all that. I do want to read that scene, though. Because I've never seen that scene. Morning! Free today, could use your help. That's odd. Shoichi never asked me for help with anything, to the point that it's mildly infuriating. Hang on. Sure, what do you need? Pick you up in 20. But wait, that's not an explanation! Yeah, screw it, at least I have plans now. Okay, I'm going to be heading out in about 20 minutes. I speak loudly so he can hear me from the kitchen. Getting up from the couch to go up to my room, wanting to give myself a quick brushing to make sure I'm presentable. Thank God I took a bath as soon as I woke up. Alright, I'll be out of the house in 10, so you'll have to lock up after you leave. Got it. Sometime later. Shoichi shows up to pick me up around the agreed upon time, barely even saying a word as he does so. Only a few curt answers to my greeting. I decide to mostly follow him in silence, mulling over the questions I wanted to ask. He looks really tense for some reason. Things had been pretty nice with us during the rest of the week. Even our argument earlier was resolved and wasn't even an issue anymore. Did something happen to get him like this? Shoichi? Yeah. Is everything okay? Yeah. Did you really just answer me with the same word twice? You look a bit off today. Your face is scrunched up in a weird way. The husky stops in his tracks, turning around to face me with a sigh. Is it really? For sure. Is everything alright? It's hard to explain. I did a thing, and I need some support to deal with it. Oh my god, you didn't kill someone, right? That's not what this is, right? What? No, of course not. Why would you even think that? Just checking. Your imagination really concerns me sometimes. I can honestly agree with that. I've been giving what you said to me some thought. Oh, really? What about it exactly? Just everything about meeting Mom again. Reconnecting. Really? That's great! If you say so, it's hard. I tried talking to Dad yesterday. Showed him my grades, how well I did on my exams and all that. I told him that I could do that well despite volleyball on the side. I asked him if I could still keep it up. I want to be hopeful that he said yes, but your face doesn't really give me much hope. Oh, Shoichi. If we weren't in the middle of a busy street right now, I'd give you a hug. He was happy that I got good grades. He even complimented me a bit, which is rare. He pet me a little. I think he actually considered letting me for a second, but volleyball isn't a good extracurricular for a resume. If I have time to do that, then I should look for something more productive. Are you kidding me? It's not like he doesn't have a point, I guess. I just hate it. As you should. He's being ridiculous. We can get in an argument about that later. I really don't want to talk about it right now. I just had to give some context. Context for what? The whole thing it made me decide that I really wanted to do it. I kept hearing what you told me over and over in my head, and I thought that maybe... I asked Hitoka to set things up for me. I couldn't bring myself to just message Mom directly after all this time. It felt too impersonal, and I definitely couldn't drop by unannounced. She told me Mom was on shift yesterday, so we decided I'd visit today instead. I know it's kind of a weird thing to ask. I know you'll probably feel awkward being there for the whole thing too, but as I was preparing myself for this morning, I started to panic. I need you there with me, you. I don't think I'll have the courage to go over without you there to give me emotional support. I'm scared. I'm really scared that she'll be mad at me. But there's no way she'll be mad at you. I already told you that. I hope so. I really do. I place a hand on his shoulder, looking up at the goof with a smile on my face, trying my best to be reassuring. You worry too much. I know she'll be happy to see you. It's been too long, man. There's no way it hasn't been weighing on her. But I'll keep you company if that's what you need, and once you've gathered your courage, I'll leave so the three of you can be alone. I didn't ask you to come all the way to have you walk out. That'd be rude. You and I know I won't really belong in that. It's a family thing. I'll keep you company until you feel safe, and then I'll find a reason to excuse myself. That's non-negotiable. Shoichi reaches up for my hand, grabbing the back of it and lifting it from his shoulder. He gently brings my hand to his face, pressing his cheek against my palm. Thanks, you. I love you. Of course, no problem. This is really nice and all, but we're in public, man. What if someone looks our way? Shit, no, I can't panic right now. If I panic, then he'll panic, and it'll be too much panic for us to deal with without panicking. Did I use the word panic too much right now? Is it alright for me to panic over that? Oh god, what is my mind doing to me? Man, you look so frazzled right now. I'm having a hard time not laughing. Shut up. I'm embarrassed, okay? Shoichi places a hand on top of my head, gently ruffling my fur and running his fingers through it with a bright smile on his face. You really are my rock, you. I'll be able to be the same for you when you need me to. That's some really embarrassing stuff you're casually spouting there, buddy. You bring it out of me. Nothing I can do about it. I certainly don't plan on hiding it either. Come on, I'm feeling a bit better now, and we're not too far from the house either way. Better do it before I lose courage again. Is that something that could actually happen? It comes and goes in waves. That's the frustrating part. Doesn't take all too long to finally reach our destination. I hadn't walked this particular path for a few years now, not since Shoichi moved away from the house. The whole thing brings me a sense of nostalgia that I can't quite describe. This time I make sure to walk side by side with Shoichi, not letting him walk ahead of me anymore. I shoot him a few sideways glances on the way, seeing a look on his face that makes me wonder if he's being swallowed up by the same sense of nostalgia that I'm feeling. Or is it maybe dread? I certainly hope it isn't. Eventually, we reach the front door. I see a small wooden board that reads, Hayashida. Shoichi's eyes follow my gaze, and as soon as they fall upon the board, his face scrunches up. I guess it makes sense. He mutters quietly to himself, placing a hand on his chest and taking a deep breath. My brain races to try and come up with comforting words to say, but no matter what I do, I can't find them. Sound of hurried steps echoes from the other side, racing to the door and unlocking it. Swinging open the door, Hitoka appears on the other side, a huge grin on her face as her eyes fall on the two of us. Oh, hey, Yuichi-kun, you're here too. Hitoka, Shh! She brings a finger to her lips, giddily interrupting Shoichi before breaking into giggles. Hitoka, who's at the door? Just something I ordered, Mom. The girl shouts back inside once a female voice calls her from somewhere within the house, barely holding her laughter. You didn't. I wanted it to be a surprise. Be quiet. I said shush! Shoichi soon acquiesces to his sister's whims. A scene that is already all too familiar by now. Come on, let's head inside. Quietly! As soon as we step in through the entrance hall, we're hit by a wave of cool, dry air rushing in from the living room. Take a few seconds to look around, seeing just how much of this is the exact same as last time I've been here. A pleasant smell wafts in from the kitchen, a mix of familiar spices, chicken and rice. Hitoka had probably been cooking when we rang the doorbell. No wonder she rushed to get to the door first. And then sitting at an armchair with a book atop her lap was a figure I didn't even realize how much I'd come to miss over the past few years. Her figure is still just as I remember, only slightly rounder now than she was before. Unlike both of her children who inherited their father's fur pattern, Sachiko-san's fur is of a deep, almost fiery red. Her eyes, however, have that same vibrant green hue I've grown used to seeing almost every day. As soon as his gaze falls on her, Shoichi covers his mouth with his hand, his wide eyes focused solely on his mother, faint droplets forming on their corners. Sachiko-san continues to read, unaware of the sudden presence of two people that hadn't been inside the household until just a few moments earlier. Mom, there's someone here to meet you. Who is... Sachiko-san looks up from her book, freezing as soon as she sees us. Her eyes fall upon Shoichi, slowly going wide as realization begins to sink in, her mouth hanging agape. Hitoka's previous mischievous grin slowly flattens across her face, her eyelids slowly sinking as she stares down at the ground with only the tiniest hint of a smile on her face. Shoichi? She gets up from her chair, taking slow, hesitant steps towards the three of us. Her expression shows me nothing other than utter surprise, leaving me completely incapable of telling how she's feeling other than shocked. She stops once she is standing just a few inches away from her son, who now easily towers over her. The older husky looks him up and down, her unmistakable green eyes twinkling even brighter than usual with the moist, glossy reflection of tears wanting to form. The shock on her face slowly subsides, taken over by a gentle, matronly smile. Reaching up with her hand, Sachiko-san places a hand on Shoichi's cheek, who has not moved at all even now. You've grown so much. Those words, barely a whisper, spoken warmly and from the heart, are enough to finally disarm Shoichi. He wraps his arms around his mother, pulling her into a tight hug and leaning down to rest his chin on her shoulder. Yeah? A part of me really does feel like I shouldn't be here. This isn't the sort of thing an unrelated person should be in the middle of. But Shoichi's asked me to be here. For some reason, he wants my support. There's no way I could ever refuse him like that. Have you been good? Are you healthy? It's been way too long. Sachiko-san pulls away, holding her son's face in her hands and looking him fondly in the eyes, wiping the tears on his eyes with her thumbs. Shoichi laughs, placing a hand on top of her head and pulling her closer once again to kiss her forehead. Have I been healthy? That's such a mom thing to ask. You really have your priorities straight, don't you? It's my job to look after you. Her words cause the smile on Shoichi's face to falter for a brief second, almost completely unnoticeable. In fact, if I hadn't gotten used to watching him closely since we started dating, it probably would have flied right past me. I'm sorry I didn't come to see you sooner. You've been dealing with a lot, haven't you? Shoichi's silence probably speaks louder than any words you come up with. Sachiko-san shakes her head sideways, sighing. She's always been well put together, quickly recomposing herself and steadying her breath. The smile, however, never leaves her face. She turns to me, placing a hand on my shoulder and smiling fondly. What about you, Yoichi-kun? It's been so strange not having you around all the time anymore. How have you been, Will? I have, yeah. Sorry for intruding on your reunion, ma'am. Don't be silly, I've missed you just as much. You're a part of my life for years. You're already like a son to me. I've been getting frequent updates on you and Shoichi from Hitoka, but it's not really the same as having you around. She reaches out with her hand, gently stroking my chin with her index finger and thumb. The sudden gesture of affection causes me to blush slightly, wanting to turn my face away but being unable to do so. Wait, from Hitoka? Hitoka pulls her phone out of her pocket, playfully wagging it next to her face with a grin. Aki-kun keeps me updated. I just pass the information along. I see, I guess those two really keep in touch a lot more often than I thought. Jeez, I can't believe you've been going through that much trouble. Maybe if a certain someone texted me and talked to me more often, I wouldn't have to. Noted. Come here, sit. Tell me what's been going on with you, please. Sachiko-san ushers us to the couch before going back to her chair, with Shoichi taking the middle seat and Hitoka sitting to his left. That leads only the seat closest to Sachiko-san's armchair vacant for me. How have you been? Are you doing well in school? Are you still getting along with your friends? What's with these questions? They're such stereotypical mom questions to ask. Shoichi! Shut the fuck up! Shoichi! Seriously, shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Just answer the questions without the sass. Sachiko-san laughs, her voice carrying through the room. It's a bubbly, cheerful, nostalgic sound that diffuses any tense feelings inside of me. I spent so much time in this house over the years. Even though Sachiko-san was always busy with her shifts at the hospital, she was still a really frequent presence in my life. She also helped a lot with Aki when my own mom was too busy to come home. Especially in the years right after Dad's passing when we first moved here. I know, I'm sorry. I'm just having a hard time containing myself. I'm so happy to see you two again after so long. I know, I'm excited to meet you two. I was so worried about coming here I ended up dragging Yoichi along with me for moral support. The older husky hums in amusement, turning her gentle green eyes toward me. Thank you for being here for him, Yoichi-kun. You have no idea how much that means to me. Of course, ma'am. I wouldn't have it any other way. Shoichi reaches up, briefly running his fingers on top of my head to show his appreciation. But tell me, Shoichi, why did you stay away for so long? You rejected all my attempts to reach out and... Did I do something wrong? Her voice cracks noticeably. Sachiko-san takes multiple breaks to breathe and recompose herself as she speaks, trying to get her voice under control. Mom, of course not. You never did anything. It was all me. I felt really guilty for the longest time. Yoichi often tried to urge me to meet you again to talk to both of you. I'm the one who had a hard time accepting it. Then again, Yu has always been a real family man. Family first and all that. It's not all surprising that he'd be the one pushing me along. In the middle of his speech, I notice a small slip-up when Shoichi calls me Yu in front of his family. A brief sense of panic wells up on the pit of my stomach while I look around nervously, looking for any sign that they noticed. However, they both seem far too focused on the rest of his words to even give it a second thought. I did tell you lots of times to visit. I know, I'm sorry. It took a lot of his nagging to finally get me to work up the courage. I'm sorry it took so long. Sachiko-san leans forward in her chair, her brows furrowed as she examines Shoichi's face with trembling lips. This hurts. This fucking hurts. This hurts. Okay. Why would you ever feel guilty, baby? You had nothing to do with anything that happened. But Mom, I chose to go with Dad. I had my reasons, but still, I did something that hurt you. There was a lot I should have told you, that I really wanted to stay with you, that I felt like I had to go with that I saw. Shoichi bit his lip, leaving his sentence unfinished. Sachiko-san watches impatiently for a few moments, wanting to see if he'd finish the words left unsaid. When it becomes clear he wouldn't, she smiled again, reaching forward and stretching herself to place a hand on Shoichi's knee. You have nothing to feel guilty for. All I want is to have my son around again. None of those other things matter to me. Shoichi fidgets next to me, his entire body shivering, tries to speak in between shaky breaths, clutching his fist on his lap. Mom? I feel an urge to say, I told you so, although that would be seriously inappropriate right now. I'll make sure to keep any and all gloating for later. That should make it better. Now, come on. Tell me more. What have you been up to for the past few years? What's been going on in your life? I want to know everything. Well, there's been a lot. We might be here for a while. A lot of it is boring, too. I don't mind, baby. I just want to hear your voice more. Talk to me. Shoichi nods, humming under his breath and leaning forward on his seat, his tail curling around him and brushing up against my legs, nestling itself there. Let's see. Oh, I became student council president on my freshman year of school. That's pretty neat, right? The biggest pitch was trying to increase funding for the school festival, which I managed to do by... Shoichi begins to fill her in, telling her about most of the things that have been happening lately or that happened in the past. He goes all the way back to our first year of high school, telling her about even the most mundane things. How he became the captain of the volleyball team, how they rose to become a powerhouse school in the prefecture, how high his grades have been, the friends he's made. Can't help but laugh at a few times when he snarls playfully while dramatizing his recounts on how much K-kun has been an annoyance to him. Despite his seemingly venomous words, however, he has a wide smile on his face the whole time, laughing along as he tells both girls about their constant bickering. And there was this one time where the guy wanted to go to a library on our day off. Like, we're all together as a group, wanting to do something fun together, and he suggests a library. All the time he kept arguing with me and bitching about how he didn't like cherry blossoms, blah blah blah. It's like he feels the need to disagree with me just on principle. To be fair, that one goes both ways. You're the same way around him. I guess it's true. He's really fun to tease and rile up. Sachiko-san laughs, covering her mouth with both her hands so as to not show her teeth. He sounds like a good friend to you. I'm glad you met someone you like so much. Who says I like him? I can't stand the guy. It certainly doesn't sound like it. Maybe a little. I guess he can't hide how much love he has for the hair, even when he tries his best to. Those two definitely have a weird friendship dynamic going on, that much is for sure. I'm surprised. The one time I met him, he seemed really meek and quiet. He barely said a word when I was around. I can clarify that one. That's because you're terrifying. What? I'm not! I'm small and cute and adorable. You're about as small and cute as a raging bull trampling over unaware pedestrians in Spain. Hey. Hitoka pouts, punching her brother on the shoulder and sulking at the corner of her seat. Sachiko-san chuckles, playfully slapping Shoichi's knee. Honey, don't compare your sister to a raging bull. Yes, ma'am. Oh, and I guess this brings us to this year, right? Well, there's this new guy that transferred to our school at the start of the year. He's this bubbly tiger who plays a piano. I did not come here for these feels. Okay. Shoichi continues to recount events to his family, smiling throughout the whole thing. He does leave out the part about the two of us being in a relationship now, to my great relief. Even if we were ready to be open about it, now wouldn't really be the time for that sort of reveal. He gushes about even the most minor events, telling her everything in great, painstaking detail. It's like once he got going, he couldn't bring himself to stop. Sachiko-san merely nods along to his words and a pleased smile on her face, her eyes never leaving him. Shoichi sneakily grabbed my hand while speaking, squeezing it tight. His tail wagged against the couch behind him, betraying the enthusiasm he tried not to show on his face. Hitoka and Sachiko-san were both the same, except they were a lot less guarded about their feelings. At some point, Hitoka scooted closer to her brother on the couch, leaning her head against his shoulder and listening to him speak in silence. In the middle of this happy family atmosphere, it was clear I stood out like a sore thumb. I quickly excused myself, deciding it was time that the intruder left the scene and let the other three enjoy their family time in peace. Although Sachiko-san seemed sad to see me leave, none of them made any show of protesting my decision. They wouldn't go so far as to say I was unwanted. It was clear even Shoichi now felt comfortable enough to be here without me. Which is only fair, after all, this is his family. Not mine. At least, not yet. With one last look at the three of them, I bid my farewells and walked out the front door. I sit lazily on the couch with my left leg propped up over the leg rest and the other one resting atop the coffee table, trying my best to keep my eyes open and focused on the TV, but already I can feel the early stages of sleep setting in. It's not even that late, barely 8 p.m. I should not be this tired this early in the night. Dear God, what has happened to me? Am I an old man now? Aniki, are you alright? You look pretty out of it. I'm really tired. Not sure why. I'm usually pretty good at staying up late. Shouldn't you be celebrating? At least this means you'll be able to sleep. I guess my insomnia hasn't been that bad lately, so it's less of a concern today. I should probably get to making dinner, actually. You don't have to cook. Mom's home, remember? She's been locked away in her room for the past 3 hours. I don't think she's coming out anytime soon. She said she would. She wanted to have some family time today. Mom says a lot of things. She also loses track of time easily. Let her be for now. I'm just gonna go knock on her door. Don't do that. That'd be rude. Fine. Then you go. Why does anyone have to go? I said no one should knock on her door. Whoa, did you learn to knock on doors from a distance or something? Funny. That obviously wasn't me. I'll go check the door. Just a second. Aki walks to the entrance hall to check who it is. As soon as I hear the sound of the door being unlocked and opened. What are you doing here, Shoichi-ni? Huh? Shoichi? Good afternoon, Aki-kun. Is it alright if I come in? I was hoping I could talk to Yuichi for a bit. Yeah, sure, he's right here on the couch. Hey there, evening you. Whoa, what are you doing here? Isn't it past your curfew already? Maybe. I told Dad I'd be visiting Mom, so he gave me a bit of an extension on that. I have until 9 p.m. to get home. A 3-hour extension for the first time he sees his mother in years. Come on, Takahiko-san, that's way too stingy. Hey, that's right. You went over to see them today. I'd forgotten about that. Hitoka-chan was really excited when she told me you'd be coming in the morning. She hasn't texted me all day. Oh yeah, that reminds me of something. Shoichi walks up to Aki, leaning down and grabbing my brother by his waist, pulling Aki up off his feet and holding him under his left arm. Aki squirms, trying to release himself, but Shoichi's grasp is far too strong. Shoichi laughs, digging his fist on top of Aki's head and grinding it playfully with noogie. You little twerp! I can't believe you were feeding my sister intel on me this whole time. wait, Shoichi, I yelled! This whole time you were a spy for the enemy lines, weren't you? What do you mean, enemy lines? Aki laughs, struggling uselessly under Shoichi's terrible punishment. They carry on like this for about 30 seconds or so before Shoichi swings Aki around and places him neatly back on his feet. That should be a good enough lesson. You're horrible, Shoichi-ni. Damn right I am, and don't you forget it. You want to stay around for dinner? Mom is cooking today. Oh, Misaki-san is home? I should go say hi to her. Where is she? She's in her room right now. Legend says she'll be cooking dinner, but she might just work all night and forget about it. Nuh-uh. She said she would, so there's no way she'll forget. I'm sure you're right, Aki-kun. I'll say hi to her when she comes down. I'm afraid I won't have time to stay for dinner, though I need to be home in less than an hour. Well, you never stay around when I'm home. Shoichi kneels in front of Aki, getting on eye level with him. He smiles, bringing a finger to Aki's snout and playfully booping him. I promise I'll come by later, okay? Today's been a really busy day. Okay. I'm starting to notice a trend here. How come Aki is so much more behaved and cuter around other people? Such a little shit to me all the time. Why don't you sit down? I'll definitely take your offer. Hang on. We're just gonna... The fuck? Alrighty. We're just gonna start skipping again. So let me pull up the sensor because they're going to fuck. And Yeah. We're just gonna skip. Again. Gotta go to day 38. Oh, hi, Misaki. God damn it, Kiga. We don't want to join your drama club. Kidding me. We're just doing this. Shoichi, a creepy person. Ooh. Would ask for relationship advice from Saya. Ooh, you want to join the drama club so bad. Ooh. Shut up, Saya. Keisuke. Fuck off, please. And we gotta hold down control now. Yay. I love the skip button. We're doing an extra long stream tonight. All because they're gonna do butt stuff. One of us. One of us. One of us. My fucking elbow. Shut up, Mikado. Nikocado avocado. Just kidding. You said it was only a day 38 that we had, right? I dragged my tired, shambling carcass out of bed, going through my regular, everyday routine before heading out to school. I looked around after waking up. My vision felt bloggy and distorted, with my mind seeming trapped in this foggy state. All the fatigue from days of competition caught up to me all at once, and I still feel the stinging soreness all over my body. Muscle groups I didn't even know existed are still screaming at me for daring to overexert myself the way I did. Suffice to say, a lesson was learned. Just get off my ass. Keep talking like that, big guy. That's when you're sent home early. You'll be left wondering why. I spot two familiar faces seemingly arguing by the lockers on my way inside, grimacing a little at the sight. Yuichi-kun? I try to slip by unnoticed, but a voice soon calls out to me, frustrating my plans before I even have a chance to try a hand at them. Oh, hey there! I didn't see you guys there. That's okay. It gets so crowded this early in the morning so that it's easy to miss someone. Yeah, but it seems like you guys are talking about something important. I'll leave you two alone too. No, don't worry about that. I was just telling Haru off for coming to school without his jacket. Dude, it's summer. It's hot. Get off my ass already. We switched to our summer uniforms tomorrow anyway. Wait, did we already... Yeah, we already read all this. Like, all of it. Hey there, I don't think we've met. I'm Kiga Kasama. Seen you around Shoichi-san a couple times. I'm Jun Kobayashi. I'm a classmate of Yuichi-san's. Nice. It's good to meet you. I'm working the student council with Shoichi-san. And you also never shut up about it. Don't start this again, and also seriously go home and get your damn jacket. Make me. Okay. By the way, I hate to ruin the conversation, but I was hoping I could steal Yuichi-san away. What for? I've been studying for next midterms since I did so bad in the last one. I know they're only after summer break, but still, I was hoping you could help me out a little, please? Oh, is that it? Sure, it's not like I haven't offered to tutor you before. If anything, it'd be a welcome distraction, not to mention a good excuse to get away from the unbridled chaos that these two are. It's not like I could argue with that reason. If anything, I feel like it's my obligation to support given my Oh my god, could you stop making everything about how you're a student council member? We get it. You're a nerd. Move on. Bite me. Holding down control. Where's my fucking cursor? So wait, did I disable? Yeah, I disabled skip. Seriously, does that moron not know how to take it easily? I'm afraid that expression is not in his personal dictionary. Yeah, we'll see about that once I give him a piece of my mind. But you're not going to come with me looking for him, are you? No, I promised my friends I'll be back soon. But Shoichi is supposed to drop by for dinner with us later this week. I'll let Mom know about it too. She's also been worried that he's working himself too hard. I'm sure she'd like to have a word with him about it too. Uh-oh, sorry Shoichi, I might have turned your next family dinner into a surprise intervention. Well, I'm glad to see you guys are getting along again. Thanks, at least we have that much to be thankful for. I'm not sure what can make him change his mind. Made him change his mind, but it's good to see that even that stubborn mule can see reason every now and again. I wouldn't get used to it if I were you, though. No doubt, I'm happy, not delusional. Good, I just had to make sure. You don't mind me asking, what is this family dinner about? Just making up for lost time? Yes and no. Mom wanted to discuss some of her wedding plans with Shoichi, actually. Right, and how have things been going with that? I mean, your stepdad even lent Shoichi his car for over the weekend, so I assume it's been good. Oh yeah, Hiroshi-san is great. I love Dad, but I can tell Hiroshi-san is a lot more attentive. I've never seen Mom happier. Actually, this reminds me, I wanted to apologize to you. You did, and why does this remind you of that? I didn't show up for your competition last week, right? I've actually been helping Mom with her wedding plans lately. Since she wants to have a spring wedding, that leaves us a bit under a year to get all the plans in order, so we've been picking up the pace. Isn't a year more than enough? I mean, all you need is a shrine, a priest, and a few family members, no? That's for a traditional wedding. Mom has her heart set on a Western wedding, so it's a much bigger occasion. You need to go over possible locations, venues, vendors, guest list, all that stuff. Wow, that really does sound like a lot. No wonder you guys started looking into it so soon. Yeah, it's been eating most of my free time lately. Still, I'm really sorry I didn't show up for your competition. I've been really dropping the ball this year. Don't sweat it, Hitoka-chan. I'm not upset at all. Really? Great. You could be a little upset, though. Did you say something? No, it's nothing. Anyway, I should really get going now. My friends are going to start wondering if I fell into a hole somewhere on my way to the cafeteria at this point. Yeah, and I still need to find Shoichi. I'll talk to you later, Hitoka-chan. Sure, and if there's anything I can do to help, make sure to call me. Don't be a stranger this time. I'll do my best. Later. Shoichi, you asshole. It was a bit trickier than I expected. Dad's been a little grumpy lately. I think he's upset that I've been talking to Mom again. But I did manage to get his permission already. That's concerning. What? That your dad doesn't want you to talk to your mom. Isn't that, like, super bad? No, I didn't mean it like that. Dad just doesn't like thinking about Mom since things ended up pretty badly between them, and I guess he's still embarrassed about how it all went down. Still, I talked to him last week and convinced him to let me go out. The fact that you and I do it somewhat often made it a lot easier, too. A week? Damn! You made plans for it even before you talked to me about it. Well, when it comes to Dad, I need to plan things ahead to show him I won't let any of my obligations fall through the cracks while I'm having fun, so I made sure to prepare for it before asking you. It's weird that you have to go through all that just to get a sleepover when you're turning 19 in a few more months. Surely even you can see that, right? Well, I guess I'll see you again later today. Bet. I should get going now, though. They're probably waiting for me inside. Yeah, talk to you later. Haruki. He's gotten back in touch with his family lately, though, so they might be able to convince him. His family? Shoichi's parents are divorced, and it was pretty messy. He hasn't talked to his mom or sister since, because he felt bad for having to live with his dad. I run my mouth before my brain can catch up to stop and consider whether I should be telling him any of this. I tighten my lips, urging myself to stay quiet once I realize what I've done. But when I scan the wolf's face for some kind of response, I find nothing. In fact, Haruki continues to stare at me while staying eerily silent, to the point it starts to creep me out a little. Anyone in there? Are we asleep at the wheel? Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, can you forget I said anything? I probably shouldn't have told you any of that. From my stupid mouth without thinking. Sure. So, if there isn't anything else, I'm gonna get going, then. Yeah. Okay. I had hoped many times that this dude would just shut up, but now that he has, I'm even more worried. Bye-bye. Fucking love you, Shoichi. Of course, there's no way I could say that to anyone else. Hell, Hitoka's already been on my ass lately now that I'm visiting more often. If she or mom ever caught wind of me feeling this way, I'd never hear the end of it. Is that so? Oh man, I may have created more of a problem than I even realized. Yeah, I mean, I guess she worries, but Hitoka's constantly hovering around me asking if I ate right today, if I slept enough, if I'm taking time to relax. It feels like I'm constantly under surveillance all of a sudden. Isn't that called having a caring sibling? If it bothers you so much, why don't you say so? I would, but then I'm sure she'd stop cooking for me again. And I just got her to start packing lunches for me once more. Hitoka's food is really tasty after all. Talk about a greedy older brother. I'll talk to her when I'll take what I can, okay? Having to go back to eating packaged convenience store lunches was just sad. Then I suppose you can't risk angering her again. Nor do I want to. I don't know when it happened, but at some point Hitoka stopped being a cute little girl and became really scary when she's mad. That's what you get for letting Saya act like an older sister to her. There's no way she wouldn't become some kind of influence. It wouldn't be the worst thing for you to take it a little easier, you know? Please don't you start too, you. Okay. Huh, that was a lot easier than I thought. Yeah, well, I haven't got much time with you lately. I'd rather not argue now that I do. I'm just glad to see you a little more cheerful. What do you mean? Seriously, you looked really crushed when I last saw you on Saturday. That and tired. And then you barely even replied to my messages after. How was I not supposed to worry? I guess you're right. To be honest, I was out of it for all of yesterday and a little of today, too. I don't blame you. When I lost the inner high, I was pretty out of it for a week. Really? Because I remember checking on you multiple times during the school festival, and you both looked and said you were fine. I guess I'm good at putting on a brave face. That's good to know. No, it isn't. The hell's wrong with you? Glad I get to have some time with you, though. Is it silly to say I missed you, even though I saw you pretty much every day? I still feel that way. It's not silly. I felt the same way. Good, I'm happy to hear you missed me, too. Now, that might be a little cruel. Oh, come on. Give me a break here. No can do, although we should probably start getting ready for bed. It's getting pretty late. I guess you're right about. Hang on. Ah, shit, the ads. Sorry. Gonna continue for the ads. We got a day 39, I think. We have a day 39. Girly, we have a day 39. So, yeah. We have a day 39. Hell yeah. Pretty good, I think. Mom will be taking a break from her work soon because of her wedding. Hitoka's been helping her with it. Her fiancé seems like a good guy. He's been way nicer to me than I would have expected given him someone else's kid. If you're getting married to a mother of two, I don't think you have the luxury of thinking of your stepchildren as someone else's kids. I guess so. This is all pretty new to me. Dad, though, it's hard to say. He's been weirdly quiet lately. Then again, work has also been picking up for him, so maybe he's just tired. How is he dealing with your mother remarrying? Frankly, I think he tries not to think about it most of the time. Can't say I blame him. It can't be too comfortable of a subject. Yeah, I'd rather not think about it, though. What happened between my parents is between them. I don't want to be in the middle of it again. Yes, that makes sense. I'm sorry. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. Oh man, this is uncomfortable now knowing what I know. What else is new? Shoni, how's practice been? Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Shoichi-kun. I remember senior having to study for entrance exams really made me feel like my entire life was put on hold, so I understand. After that, while the mood around the table mostly went back to normal with Mom and Shoichi catching up, taking the brunt of the conversation, I stayed quiet most of the time as the news didn't quite sit well with me. I wanted to say something about it, to find some way to protest, but is it even any of my business? I really wanted to win. And if I try to convince myself not to say anything, I keep remembering the look on Shoichi's face in that closet. I love volleyball. I never want to stop playing it. But it wouldn't be okay for me to keep quiet about it just for the sake of keeping the peace, right? Not when I know what I know. I managed to convince him once before it came to his mom. When it came to his mom, even if it led to a bit of a scuffle. So maybe I can do it again? No, it's not about whether I can or can't do it. I have to. Then again, it's not really about whether I can or can't say anything. I wouldn't be doing a good job as his boyfriend if I didn't. I'll do it. I'll have to think over it how, but I'll figure out a way to. I have to. Half an hour later. Mostly stay silent as Shoichi and Aki cheerfully chat on our walk to school, with Aki coming with us to ours before we separate and go our respective ways. Alright, we're here. Yuichi and I have to get going, Aki-kun. Yeah, have a good day, Shoni, Aniki. You too. Later. Shoichi and I wave Aki off, watching the familiar sight of him happily jog his way down the street in the direction of his school. Well, at least it's familiar to me. Is everything okay? You've been quiet for a little while. Me? Yeah, I'm fine. Seriously? Yeah, it's fine. I'm just thinking over what I'll have to do today. Why do I not feel the least bit convinced by that? You're a deeply mistrustful person? No, I don't think that's it. Can't blame him for thinking of a way to keep him from quitting. Can't tell him I'm thinking of a way to keep him from quitting volleyball. Not until I have the words ready, at least. That would be a really, really bad idea. I may be the dense, dumb idiot that didn't notice he had feelings for me for years, but even I'm capable of learning. Seriously, it's fine. I'm just thinking things over. Do you need to know every single thought that goes on in my head? Guess not. Okay, I won't pry anymore. Sorry. Thanks, so what will you be doing today? I know I've been coming to school earlier the past couple of months, but you're still late by your standards, aren't you? Yeah, it's fine, though I took some time to myself. I still have to write my resignation letter and figure out what I'm going to say to everyone. You're right, when will you be doing that? I'll probably focus on the letter until class starts, then I'll leave saying my goodbyes for everyone after class. Better do it when everyone's getting together for practice. Give them a chance to work out any feelings they might have on the court. Got you. So we can walk to the gym building together? I guess might be the last time we do that, huh? No, don't put it like that! I assume you'll be busy until class starts then. Should we go our own ways for now? Yeah, haven't you been studying early in the morning anyway? Yeah, I can't afford to slack off too much. Building up the habit again was a bitch. I don't want to lose it and have to go through it all over again. I'll bet, although, Shoichi looks around for a second before eventually gesturing with his eyes for him to follow. Yeah, which I do without questioning him. Didn't I come here just yesterday? Wonder what he could have wanted to ask me here as well. Is everything okay? I wanted to talk to you about something I couldn't at the house, not when Aki or your mom could have overheard. So you chose to do it when we're in a building with at least 100 other students. Makes sense. It's all bigger here, so we can at least find a private space. Fair enough, fair enough. So what did you want to talk about? You know, last night and all, I wanted to thank you again. Thank me? For what? Having sex with you? You know, it sounds pretty bad when you put it like that. That should be telling you something. Ugh, that's not what I mean, though. This is already embarrassing to make fun of me while I'm doing it. I make no promises. Gee, thanks. You're welcome. What I meant is, thank you for trusting me again, you know, after the conversations we had over how I was being too pushy and making you uncomfortable and how you didn't actually want me to do stuff. I've been trying my best to be on my best behavior. So it really meant a lot to me that you trusted me and were comfortable enough to go there. That's what I wanted to say. And all it took was for me to take the lead. I guess you do work best when you're being led to the water by a leash. If you think I won't make you regret annoying me when I'm trying to be vulnerable, you are sorely mistaken. Sorry, I couldn't resist. It was too funny in my head. You're a menace. I can be. You should take it as a compliment, though. It means I'm comfortable with you. Is that how I should be taking it? I don't know if I have it in me. Jokes aside, I do appreciate your patience. It also meant a lot to me that you were willing to take things at my pace, even if that's probably not what you wanted. Don't see that, you. I want to make you happy. Sure, getting to be intimate with you is nice, but it's pointless if it's not nice for you, too. I would never want to do it if it's at the expense of your comfort. Yeah, and that's what I appreciate. It makes me feel better that you don't make it seem like a huge chore sacrifice for you or something. I'd be a horrible boyfriend if I thought like that. Horrible person, too. No argument there. Here. What? No, Shoichi, it's not that bad. You're a good person, Shoichi. The best. Was that supposed to be my voice? Fuck off. Being serious for a moment, though, it's pretty good to touch base like this once in a while. I appreciate the conversation. Yes, it's made me feel better, too. I just need to get it off my chest. I'm glad you did. Now, is there anything else you wanted to say? Nah, I'm good. I should probably get going, too. What about you? Nothing to say, but there's one thing I need to do. Oh, yeah? What's the... I take this rare opportunity to quickly close the distance between Shoichi and I, locking lips with a surprised husky and even catching a shocked yelp in the way. Shoichi is usually the one on the offensive when it comes to this kind of thing, so I wanted to give him a taste of his own medicine as well. Let him know I won't always be the one meekly taking it. We kissed for a few seconds, the warm feeling of his lips pressed up against mine being as intoxicating as ever. We both know we can't stay like this for too long, and we're both clear-headed enough to pull away when needed. Gotta say, wouldn't mind getting surprises like these more often. Good, you better get used to it. Yes, sir. The husky pulls me close, giving me a tight, albeit quick hug. Ow. Although when he pulls away, he quickly flicks my forehead, making me yelp and nearly trip backwards. Ouch, what was that for? A reminder that, for as much as I enjoyed it, you need to think of your surroundings more when you do things like that. What if we'd gotten caught? Wasn't privacy the whole reason we came here? Privacy is relative. We're far enough away that people probably can't overhear us, but we still have a good view of the gate. And they could have seen us from there too if we looked this way. Don't be so reckless in the future. The fact that you stand there and lecture me with a smile on your face pisses me off for some reason. I can't do anything about that. You could wipe the smug off your mug, for starters. Now I really need to go. Things to do and all that. Walk together to class? Yeah, of course. Shoichi and I step back onto the main path, walking the rest of the way to the building and into our floor before heading to our own individual classes. Though not before agreeing to meet up by the front locker so we can head to the gym together later. You know, I'm supposed to use the time to study and catch up like I usually would, but all I can think of is what I can say to get Shoichi to stick around with his volleyball club. That's a more pressing issue at the moment. A few minutes later, I tried sitting at my desk and thinking things over, but the feeling of low dread eating away at me made it very difficult to focus. Unable to sit still, I decided to go out and walk around for a bit. Maybe then I'd be able to clear my head. On my way out, I noticed the familiar figure of a bunny among a group of 4 other girls in front of a neighboring classroom. We exchanged glances for a second before she whispers something to her friends and walks up to me on my way to the stairs. What's up? Nothing. Why do you ask? Come on, Yuichi. I've known you long enough to know there's something bugging you when I see your forehead all frowny and weird like that. What? My forehead is weird? No, my point is something the matter. I guess there's no harm in telling her, right? I mean, her advice has already helped me out once. Why not go for the double? Says you can't really hide how I'm feeling from Saya. She's like a bloodhound with how good she is at sniffing out this kind of thing. Plus, she's also an athlete and all. Maybe she is the best person to give me advice here. Well, it's about Shoichi. I figured what's going on. Did you know that he has plans of turning in a letter of resignation from the volleyball club today? Oh. You don't seem that bothered. Kinda. I don't exactly like it, but you had to have seen it coming, right? He hasn't been going to the volleyball club in over the month, and he said before he planned on quitting to focus on his entrance exams. I know, but just because the other seniors are doing it doesn't mean he has to as well. Shoichi's the last person I'd expect to do this. The other seniors aren't quitting. Huh? I said the other seniors aren't quitting, at least not the ones who are regulars. Shoichi's the only one. How do you know that? I go to places and talk to people. Novel concept, I know, but you should try it sometime. We literally share a building and a locker room with them. I guess. But knowing that only makes it suck even more. Shoichi's arguably the one who loves volleyball the most in that team, and he's the one with the best chance of going professional. Why is he the one quitting? I'd get it if he had any other kind of ambition that interested him more. If he wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer or something that he's really passionate about, then sure, I'd deal. But he's quitting something he loves to follow a career path he doesn't even want to do just because his father is telling him to. That, I'm not okay with. Is it really that big a deal? I know you have feelings about this, but Shoichi loves volleyball, you know that, right? He loves volleyball more than almost anything. If it were up to him, he wouldn't stop playing, and it's not like he has to because he has no chance of making a living off of it or anything. He's only stopping because he thinks he has to. Yeah. You knew that? How long do you think I've known the guy? He's not exactly hard to read. Anyone with eyes can tell he loves volleyball whenever they watch him play, practice, or prattle about it. Nice alliteration. Thanks, I'm pretty proud of it. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. If you know what I know, then why aren't you more bothered by this? I guess I just figured there was no point. Whatever his reasons, Shochan clearly doesn't intend to change his mind, even if it's not what he wants. If you push the issue, you'd just be forcing him to do whatever you want. There's no way that could go well. Fuck, I hate that. I'd be the one forcing him. The only reason we're in this situation is because Takahiko-san is forcing him. I wouldn't be the one in the wrong. So you're fine with him leaving like that even if he's miserable? You can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves, Yuichi-kun. You'd be banging your head against the wall for nothing. I love Shoichi, but there's no way I can force him to do something if he refuses to do it. You should know that better than anyone. I do, but that doesn't mean I'm okay with it. If I can just find the words to convince him, then everything would be solved. What kind of boyfriend would I be if I didn't try? I can see from the look on your face that you're not the least bit convinced, are you? I was really hoping you'd have my back on this. I can't give up without at least trying. Alright, I'll see what I can do. But you'll help? Might as well. I can't convince you otherwise, and between you trying to help Shoichi and Shoichi trying to refuse help, I'd prefer siding with you. Do you have any ideas? Shochan has been getting along with Hitoka-chan and his mom again. Maybe we could talk to them? I don't think that's the best idea. Why not? For reasons. I can't tell her I already gave Hitoka-chan far too much ammunition to unload into Shoichi when they have their family dinner later. How much I expect he's going to be chewed out, I doubt anything would stick. Besides, yeah, he plans on giving the volleyball club his resignation today. There's no way Sachiko-san could intervene. Oh yeah, I guess that's a good point. And it's not like he's the best at listening to Hitoka-chan in the first place. I guess you're right, siblings can be surprisingly stubborn when it comes to each other. As a sibling, I can confirm the amount of times Aki pushed back on something I told him, only to immediately agree when it then came from Sire Shoichi is insane. I guess that leaves us... what? No, but there's no way I could. I'll be beyond cheap. Shochan would be so upset. Hello, other half of the conversation here. I'm wondering if you could tell me what the hell you're thinking about. His team. His team? If you let someone in his team know ahead of time, maybe they could get together and talk some sense into him. Oh, that might work. If anything, Shoichi cares a lot for his team, so they might have a better chance of appealing to him than we do. Problem is, who do we talk to? I don't really know anyone on the boys' volleyball team other than Shochan. I do. Really? Who? Just leave that part to me. You're trying to think of something you could say to Shoichi You try thinking of something you could say to Shoichi yourself if this goes sideways. Thinking of an apology, you mean? Not the worst idea still. I'm gonna go look for them. Thanks for the help, Sai-chan. Try not to get us into too much trouble. I can make no such promise. I really don't have his contact, so my only choice is to go look for him in his classroom and hope that I find him. Came to class early yesterday as well, and he was already here, so maybe there is hope. Few juniors turn to look at the senior entering their class without warning, but quickly go back to their conversations.
Yuichi-san, what are you doing here?
The hare, sitting near the front of the class and close to the door, stands up and walks towards me, confused by my presence. Sorry for the intrusion. I'm looking for Haruki-kun. He's in the same class as you, right?
I must admit, I did not expect that.
I don't see him anywhere. Is he not around?
I don't know. I never see him showing up this early in the morning. If he's in school, then he's definitely not in class.
That sucks. There goes my only lead.
You could try looking for Kasuma-kun in the neighboring class. They're friends, are they not?
Oh, that would be a good idea. Yeah. Do you know if he's in?
Not a clue, but at the very least, the odds are higher that you'd find him in that class than they are at finding Koizumi-kun.
Fair enough. Thanks, Kei-kun. Which of the neighboring classes do you mean?
2C.
Thanks.
Might I ask what this is about?
I need to talk to him about Shoichi.
Urata? What does he have to do with...
Sorry, Kei-kun. I'll explain it later. Gotta go!
What? But...
Alright, that was a bust. Time to try again. Let's see. Class 2C. This time I only popped my head inside, taking a peek into the class without actually going inside. Oh, there he is. It's about a familiar saber cat sitting at his desk, focusing on a notebook in front of him. Probably reviewing stuff before class. What a good student. Psst! Kasuma-kun. I call out to him, not caring about the other students turning to look my way, instead focusing only on the dumbfounded expression on his face when he realizes who is calling out to him. What? Michimiya-senpai? I gesture for him to follow me out, and after a moment's hesitation, the feline gets up from his seat and does just that. What are you doing here? Sorry, I know it's not the best time, but I didn't know how else to contact you. Did something happen? I was wondering, you are Haruki's friend, right? Yeah? Any chance you could message him or something? I kind of need to talk to him. It'd be great if I could do it before class starts. That's it? That's why you came all the way over here? Sorry, it's kind of an emergency. What kind of an emergency could you possibly have that requires you talking to Haru of all people? It's I need his help with something related to Shoichi. The Prez? What's he got to do with this? Well, I don't want to be a gossip or anything, but he's planning on finally turning in his letter of resignation to the volleyball club today. I thought that if I told Haruki, he might, I don't know, talk to the other members of the club, get them to present a united front to convince him to stay or something. What? That's an insane plan! I know, but it's all I've got right now. I know Shoichi. I know he really doesn't want to do it, but he feels like he has to for reasons I don't want him to end up regretting it a few years down the line. I mean, I can't exactly fault him for it. Entrance exams are important and all. Most seniors would quit their clubs to focus on them. I know quite a few from the drama club have done so already. Oh crap, I didn't consider the possibility he might not agree to... what the hell. I've seen Perez slaving away with his work for the past 2 years and not letting himself enjoy anything because of how many responsibilities he has. It's way too much for a high school student. He should probably get to enjoy his last year. Like his grades are bad, he'd probably be fine even if he didn't quit. Wait, so you'll help? Yeah, I'll contact Haru. He might be around already, who knows? Still avoiding me for pissing him off yesterday though, so don't hold your breath. Anything you can do would already be helpful. I'll also talk to other members of the student council. The student council? What for? We all love Shoichi-san a lot. He's been an amazing senior to all of us and taking care of everyone from the moment we joined. I don't think there's anyone in there that would refuse to pick up more work to help him out, even if we had to be a little pushy to do so. Thanks. 1 second, let me shoot Haru a message. I'll use big bold letters just in case to really get his attention. I'm relieved. I'm glad I'm not the only one who wants to help Shoichi out. For a second, I thought that Kiga-kun, as a member of the student council, would be far too stuck up about studying to sympathize. I'm glad to hear I was wrong. A few minutes later. Let's see, Kiga-kun said Haruki would be waiting for me somewhere around here. Oh, on the bench under the tree. Well, it's just like the last time I saw him there a few weeks ago. He's totally alone. People really do seem to avoid him. Then again, I can't blame them. Dude practically tried to bite my head off the first few times we talked. Haruki-kun, thanks for coming here to meet me. Don't flatter yourself. I was already at school anyway, so it's no skin off my back taking some time to hear out a loser. Yeah, can we skip the banter? I'm kind of not in the mood for it. If you say so. Either way, remember how you were asking me about Shoichi yesterday? What about it? I kind of need a favor. Oh? Is that his way of asking me to keep talking? Now, whatever, I don't have time to try and translate Haruki into people. You see, Shoichi told me today that he plans on delivering a resignation letter to the club and say goodbye to everyone. Wolf clicks his tongue so loudly that it actually startles me for a second. Seriously. After you all, leave it to me! And shit, yesterday he might be a mule, but what good are you? Actually, I said no such thing. We both know I never said that, right? There's some delusional levels of deflecting here. If anything, I told you to talk to him instead of me! Either way, since it's come to this, I think there isn't much more I can say to convince him. Do you think you could talk to the other members of the volleyball club? Maybe if you guys confront him about it together, you might be able to convince him. After all, I know Shoichi doesn't really want to leave the team. Leaving me to do your dirty work? Who says it's my work? You're the one who asked me yesterday and he didn't want Shoichi to leave. Even if it's for profoundly selfish reasons, you want it for some reason as I do. The same reason as I do. So how about you get off your ass and do something about it? Not that saying something like that would get me any closer to convincing him. I'll put up with it and keep trying to work the... Fine. Yep, fine, that's it, just fine. You're the one asking me for a favor, what else are you expecting? You want me to suck your dick too, your majesty? Because it ain't happening. You know that's not what I meant, you vulgar idiot. God, dealing with this dude gives me a headache. Thank you. When do you think you can talk to them? Me talk to them? Ain't happening either. Then... Rio. Huh? One of the seniors at Stain. Rio Kirihara. The leopard in the number 3 jersey, in case that helps jog your memory. He's a hard ass and a perfectionist, but he's also a damn good player. I don't think the freshmen like him talk like him much. But he's the only person at that club I can seriously respect. If I talk to him, I'm sure he'll get the others in a row. Oh, that would be super helpful, thanks. Rio Kirihara, huh? I vaguely remember a leopard on the team. Was he really that kind of imposing figure? I don't recall. All I remember about him was that he could also do jump serves, and he was mostly very calm and collected when I saw them play. Then again, I've never paid much attention to anyone outside of Shoichi. Do you really think that will work, though? Who knows, but at the very least, Rio wasn't the type to take any shit, so... I guess I can kind of see why you guys would get along. So I can leave this to you? Not like you have any other choice considering how badly you bunged this up. Bitch, you could have just said yes. Need anything else? Oh, no? Great. Bye. Bye, thanks again for the help. Don't go looking all sincere and shit like that. I'm not doing this for you. You're still doing it and that's what matters to me. Yeah, spare me your feelings. I don't care for them. And next time, don't get that asshole Kiga to come to me. He was blowing up my phone until I finally inserted. So fucking annoying. Huh, I did see him furiously typing when he said he was going to get a hold of Haruki, but I didn't think it was that bad. I guess he just knows how to get Haruki to do what he wants. And still, for all his whining and protesting, I think I'm getting a better understanding of Haruki in general. He's not that bad. If he were, he wouldn't have even bothered hearing me out. Well, I guess it's out of my hands now. Let the chips fall where they may. A few hours later. By the end of class, I've mostly managed to distract myself from the anxiety of waiting for Shoichi's big announcement. Forcing myself to pay attention to the lessons is the best thing I can do. It's a clear, tangible distraction to get my brain away from otherwise problematic thoughts. Never thought I'd see the day where I'm using class as a distraction from my thoughts. Usually it's the other way around. Although chatting like nothing was happening was very uncomfortable during lunchtime, what with Shoichi telling us about his plans and not even noticing the looks on Sai and I's faces. Keisuke and Jun, maybe because they're not as involved in this whole argument, kind of took it as a matter of course. Hearing the, yeah, makes sense, that's what you're expected to do, reaction from Keisuke was a little shocking from me with how dedicated he is to tennis. Man, I can't wait for the summer break to start. Yeah. I swear I can't make sense of physics, why do we need to learn all that stuff? That's a wild assertion considering what your grades were in the previous midterm, but I don't have the energy to get into that right now. Well, you have to, you can't afford to score low like how you did last time. I know that, I'm trying my best here, but I can feel my brain melting during class. Well, I'm sure Shoichi or I could tutor you when we're free, maybe during summer break itself. Ugh, this again? I mean, if it was for my benefit, you did use me tutoring you as an excuse to get me out of an awkward situation yesterday. And it's not like you don't need it. I'll think about it. Jun watches me in silence for a few seconds as I gather my stuff, eventually cocking his head to the side. Now, I usually wouldn't bother asking if you're headed to practice, but you've had that sour look on your face all day. Is everything good? I guess I just have a lot on my mind. Is it about Shoichi-san? He made a face when he told us about his plans during lunch. Nothing escapes you, huh? I do like to think I'm perceptive, yeah. To be honest, I'm not too happy about it. Shoichi sprung it on me this morning, and I've been racking my brain trying to think of something to change his mind since then. That's tricky. Wouldn't Shoichi-san get upset if you tried meddling too much? Yes. Yes, he would. Now you see my problem? Maybe you should just let him do what he wants. How can I, especially when I know it's not what he really wants? Maybe you'll have to trust that he's an adult and can make his own decisions about his life. It's a little patronizing to act like you have to keep him from making bad decisions. If he ends up regretting it later, it'll be on him. You can disagree with it, but you can't force him to do what you want. That's kind of harsh, don't you think? Maybe a little, but I worry that you'd get too wrapped up in your own opinion of things and not consider that point. I do see what you mean, but I can't agree with it. This isn't picking out what you'll have for lunch or what movie you plan on watching later. This has actual lasting impact in his life. Trying to steer him away from a decision that I know he'll regret is a bare minimum of what I should do. Especially when I know he's only doing it because he feels pressured to. Sorry, but I can't say I agree. This is too important to have a see how it goes approach. Fair enough. Fair enough, that's it? What was my whole argument just now? If that's what you want to do, then I'm not going to try to stop you. I won't say I told you so if you end up regretting it, but I won't meddle either. So I'm being used to illustrate a point. You know what? I'll take it. Better than having a whole argument about it. I don't need to second guess myself any more than I already am. Sorry we can't see eye to eye on this. What? What are you apologizing for? I mean, sure, I don't think pushing is the right thing to do, but it doesn't mean I don't hope things go well. Even I know Shoichi-san would be happier if you managed to convince him. Then what was the point of all that? It's not like you don't even care. Yuichi-san, sometimes you need to learn not to overstep your boundaries to avoid getting on someone's bad side. Just because you're right, it doesn't mean other people will always appreciate it. Hope things will go well, but I won't do something that might alienate someone. Especially if I think they might need my support in the future after that. Plus, no one likes being hated, right? Oh. I guess I hadn't considered that. Sorry, that was thoughtless of me. It's okay, can't expect other people to be mind readers. True. So I do actually hope things go well for both you and Shoichi-san. Being in a relationship sounds like hard work. It can be, but so far it's been worth it. That's good. Good luck. I'll talk to you later. And thanks. I'll wait around for Shoichi for what feels like an eternity, although my phone insists it's only been 8 minutes. I'm sure I believe it, but alas. This presumably means he hasn't left his class yet. Not that it would surprise me. If he hasn't forgotten our promise and headed there alone, that is. Man, the amount of anxiety I feel over this really is unreal. I'm gonna need a nice long bath by the time this is over. Or a therapist. Sorry, did I keep you waiting too long? I was going over the feedback instructions I wanted to give each member of the club and lost track of time. Instructions? Not only you're leaving, but you're giving them homework? Just because I'm stepping down doesn't mean I don't still care about the team. If I can give them feedback on what they need to work on, why shouldn't I? If you care so much, wouldn't it be easier to just not quit? Wild idea! I know! I see. Well, shall we go? If only because I desperately need to know how this will go. The anticipation is killing me! Yeah, let me change shoes. I nod, having to resist the urge to tap my foot while waiting around, feeling as if Shoichi were moving in slow motion. Okay, I'm ready, let's go. Finally. What's that? Nothing. Shoichi and I attempt to idly chit-chat on the walk to the gym building, but both of our nerves combined aren't exactly conducive to proper conversation, making the barely 3-minute walk quickly taper into an awkward silence. Maybe just silence. The awkward one is me. The awkward one here is me here. You know, it's kind of funny. Usually you'd procrastinate coming to practice while I'd come here first thing after class ended, and so I can barely remember the last time we actually walked into the locker room together. I guess you're right, I hadn't thought about that. I am ashamed, mortified of the past me who is trying hard to run away from his problems. Well, I don't really need to change, so I'm going to go look for the coach and wait for him while you get changed. Right. I didn't even see any of the guys from the volleyball team in here, nor did I see any on the way over. What are they doing? I thought they were supposed to be here. There's quite a few of the guys coming in and out of the locker room, but not a single one of them is from the volleyball team. The F is going on! Actually, there's a lot of people here. I think I'll wait a bit for changing. How about I come with you for now? Seriously, you're still bothered by that kind of thing? Honestly, not nearly as much as I used to be, but I do need an excuse to not leave your side right now. Yeah, I don't like getting naked in front of other people. Right, but don't go using me as an excuse to skip out on practice. I'm way past that era of my life. Come on. If you say so. Follow Shoichi past the locker room and into the volleyball side of the gym, looking around to make sure there really were no volleyball team jerseys in sight or team members getting changed. It's only when we step inside that I am surprised. Seems to be all the members of the volleyball team are already there, clustered around the sides of the court and talking to each other. As we approach, someone notices us and whispers something, causing the whole team to turn to face us. It is then that I know for certain they really have discussed it. You're all here today? You're all here already? I'm surprised. They all share looks with one another, nodding as they do so. Errata. The boys have been discussing among themselves. I would like for you to hear them out. Hear them out? Then, as if on cue, a red panda of about the same height as me wearing the number 2 jersey steps forward. Shoichi. Shoichi, what's this about you bowing out and quitting the team? Red Panda looks at me, locking eyes with me and holding my gaze for several seconds to the point I feel uncomfortable enough to look away. I thought I understood what you were thinking. We all worried the shock of losing the last tournament was too much and you needed time for yourself, what with all the responsibilities you have on top of the team. But I always thought you'd come back when you were ready. Ritsu, what are you... Haruki-than told us you plan on quitting. They're here to deliver your resignation letter to the Koth. Is he wrong? A leopard wearing the number 3 jersey steps forward, someone I immediately recognized due to Haruki's earlier description. Haruki, but how did... It is only then that Shoichi turns to me, and the guilt is so much that I have to immediately look away. Did you... I can't lie. And I can't make myself speak either. If I do, I get the feeling I would immediately start trying to explain myself, and I don't think there's any room for my feelings in this discussion. Captain. As her eyes burrow into Shoichi, his discomfort at the situation grows more and more obvious, looking away to avoid their gazes. Yeah, what the hell, Shoichi? The 4 of us are all that's left of our crop of players. I thought we were all sticking around, so what do you mean you're quitting? You're the one we need the most, man. Next to speak up is a ferret with a lithe form and particularly long limbs, wearing the number 4 jersey. He seems to be the tallest person in the team outside of Shoichi, and well, actually, is he the same height as Haruki, or is one of them slightly taller? I can't tell. Tuma, it's not... It's normal for a senior to retire and focus on his entrance exams. Well, I mean, Richan's grades are that also really great, and he's staying in the club. Mine admittedly aren't that great, but I'm sticking around anyway. Yeah, and I'm aiming for Tokyo Medical. It'll be different to balance both things, but this is my last year of high school. I want to at least enjoy some of it before I graduate. That's not the same. Why not? Are you aiming for somewhere even higher than Toda, Shoichi-senpai? This time, someone I hadn't even noticed at first pipes up. By far the shortest member of the team, a blue jay with slicked back feathers around his head, asks the question, fidgeting on his spot as soon as he notices all eyes falling on him. I mean, that's good for you if you are. I was just, curious. I'm not too sure yet. If you don't even know what university you plan on applying to, then what's the big deal? Besides, your grades are already high as is. Yeah, but I have to... You have to? Look, it's not that I want to, but... So you admit you don't want to quit. Oh, shit. Yeah, I die, like, instantly. Oh, fuck, I broke this knife. I'll fix it later tonight. The sudden question coming from Haruki of all people seems to completely disarm Shoichi, leaving him staring agape at the wolf's face. I'll only say this once, and it sickens me to my core having to say it, but this team doesn't work without you. Besides, you're the one who kept insisting I play nice with others and all that shit so I could play. You can't quit now that I'm doing it. That's... Why the fuck do you have to be so stubborn? We all know there isn't anyone on this team that loves volleyball as much as you do, so why the fuck are you the one quitting on us? The other team members all look at Haruki, seemingly as surprised as Shoichi himself is. Koizumi. That's surprising. Uh-oh. Haruchan snapped. Fuck off. Language, Koizumi. Forget that. Enough with the pity already. Why are you acting like there's someone twisting your arm to get you to quit? The only one who gets to make decisions about what you want to do is you. Besides, do you think no one is going to care if you up and leave? That's not... Or is that you just don't care about this team at all? What? I had to put up with those sappy motivational speeches for 2 years only to find out that I was finally maybe starting to believe you meant it. It was actually all crap. That's not true. Did I strike a nerve? That's because I'm right, isn't it? You're all talk. But at the end of the day, you don't give a crap about anyone here. Good to know, Captain. In that case, why don't you hurry up and quit already? The moment I notice tensions rising, I place a hand on Shoichi's shoulder. Luckily, my call seemed to have been the right one, as I have to forcefully hold him back from lunging at the sneering wolf. Haruki-san, that's not... Haruki, you're going too far. Koizumi, I was very clear about this. Whatever. He's just looking for excuses to quit anyway. It's not like anything we say will matter. I'm not looking for an excuse to... Wow. Forget everything I said. I'm convinced now. Haruki, that's enough. As everyone's attention turned toward Haruki and his outburst for a few moments, I could see Shoichi's mood drooping. Drooping or dropping? Dropping. Although he tried to make up some kind of defense, it was clear Haruki's words hurt. After all, Shoichi cares about his team quite a lot. That much is more than obvious to me. Of course it would hurt to be told he's faking it. Seriously, I know you're upset about this at all, but you really need to rein it in a little. Fuck off. Wolf's growl at the red panda's words, causing everyone except for the leopard to flinch and step away from him before stomping off in frustration. What? Koizumi, wait a... The red panda tries to hold him back, but is quickly shoved off, attempting to protest despite his words falling upon deaf ears. Seriously, I have no clue how to handle this guy. It was his idea in the first place. I'm sorry about the outburst. The leopard turns to us, quickly bowing in apology, though his eyes are mostly on Shoichi, despite the husky barely even acknowledging the gesture. It's not your fault he can be like that. Yes, he's not very good at being honest with himself or others. I'll talk to him. You too? Hang on a second, Rio. Rio! Once again, despite trying to protest his teammate's decision to leave, the leopard walks out of the building, chasing after Haruki without a single backwards glance. Ha! You two talked me into this and now leave me behind to clean up this mess. Typical. I'm getting the feeling this is a common occurrence. Yeah, well, I almost forgotten about it since Koizumi-kun has been weirdly well-behaved lately, but whenever he gets in a fight with people, Ryo is the only one who can smooth things over and talk some sense into him. I guess that's true. Ryo really is the best at dealing with him after all. The panda's words seem to shake Shoichi awake, as when I look over at him, Shoichi is smiling bitterly at that fact. I guess Ryo might have been the better choice for captain in the end. No way, Ryo might have his way with Koizumi, but when it comes to normal members of the team, you're the one we can respect. Isn't it a bit cruel to Ryo that you say you don't respect him? Well, rather than respect, it's more like... They're all terrified of him, the juniors and freshmen, that is. The ferret places both hands behind his back, adopting a sly, casual smile as he says so. You say that, but half of it is your fault for winding them up. Always talk about how Ryo will punish them for slacking and the likes. What, me winding them up? I'm always 100% serious, Richan. There's nothing scarier than Ryo when he's angry. Shoichi might be strict and all, but Ryo is terrifying. So there's Shoichi and Ryu, but I'm still Richan, huh? Red Panda sighs, dejected. I can't do anything about that. Richan looks too much like a Richan for me to call him anything else. What the hell does that even mean? Aren't you people getting a tad off topic? This is pretty much how it always is around here. That's right. It absolutely is. You see how little respect I get around here, Shoichi? And Ryo has zero interest in actually taking any responsibilities, even if he's the first to scold the juniors and freshmen when they're misbehaving or goofing off. We need an actual authority figure around, otherwise none of this works. That's what you need him for? You make the position sound more like that of a babysitter than a captain. That's depressing. If I'm being honest, I don't want to quit either. I really enjoy being part of this team, but... Is it your family? That obvious, huh? Well, no, not really, but it's a bit of a cliche, right? Whenever this kind of thing comes up, it's always about that. I mean, my parents are always on my ass to be more responsible and take my studies so seriously, but I'm all like, what do you want from me? You know? In your case, I'd consider it more good sense than anything. Remember how I had to tutor you last year to keep you from getting held back for summer school? My point is, it's not hard to guess what the reason is. Parents just can't understand their kids wanting to be their own people. Why do they gotta try so hard to make us fit their molds? I have no interest in being an accountant like my dad. Talk about boring. How bad you are at math, I'd feel sorry for your clients. Ain't that right, Monito? I ain't that bad. Need I remind you that you're in danger of getting held back for summer school again? But that doesn't mean you need to say something so cruel. Sho senpai? He's not even your senpai. You're really that flustered that you forgot? Oh man, Tomakun. Have we really gotten to the point where even Minazaki and Kido need to be looking out for you? They're juniors, you know. That's not... The ferret looks to the two, but the blue jay and squirrel look away, refusing to maintain eye contact while not looking the least bit guilty. It all but confirms Shoichi's point. I'm a senior. You guys are supposed to respect me. That's a little... You need to give us something to respect first. Itsuki! It's pretty obvious right away that I don't belong in this kind of atmosphere. Seeing the way Shoichi looks at his team with a clear fondness in his eyes, it becomes very clear how much care he has for them. So before seeing myself out, I place a hand on Shoichi's shoulder and quickly pull him aside. Your dad's the type to be upset no matter what, you know. Huh? I mean, he takes issue with everything, even though your grades are already pretty high and you have a ton of responsibilities in school. If he's going to complain regardless, you might as well do what you want, don't you think? You only get to do it once, after all. That's a weird way to look at it. At the very least, you can't lie and say you don't want to stay. Yeah. Okay. That's all the confirmation I need. I guess Shoichi's in good hands here, after all. It does feel bittersweet to realize I'm not needed somewhere, especially when it comes to something that's so important to me. But this kind of thing really should be left between Shoichi and his team. You won't get another chance either way. I'm heading back in. And I'm pulling up the sensor because I don't trust it. As I walk back into the locker room, I hear a hushed conversation in the far corner of the room. Okay, don't need to hide it. Ah, fuck. Stepping into the corner, I quickly spot the figures of Haruki and Ryo huddled in a dark corner talking. The conversation seems to be over by the time I walk out. However, as the leopard walks away and quickly gives me a curt nod as we pass by each other at the door. I look at the wolf for a second, but he either doesn't notice or doesn't care about my presence whatsoever. Sighing, I decide to forgo my usual locker and walk up to him. Placing my bag on the bench he's sitting on and grabbing my clothes from inside. The fuck are you doing here? Getting changed. This is a locker room after all. Going to be undressing, do it somewhere else. I don't want to see you naked. Get over yourself. There's no one else this side of the room, and so I'd much rather get changed here. Ugh. Those words make him seem to be in his usual spirits. They lack the usual sharpness behind them that I've grown used to. You seem down. Sure wouldn't rather be in there? What, are you going to start telling me you're not being honest too? I don't think I know you well enough to tell. You're goddamn right. Me, not honest. I'm always honest. Is that supposed to be one of your charm points? You're going to mock me, go away. Mock you? I'd never think of it. Yeah, right. Although... What? You did seem to care about whether Shoichi quits the club or not. I don't! Now, don't be like that. All I'm saying is if there's something you want after all, it's best to say it, otherwise you might regret it. Well, either way, I'm done getting changed, so I'm heading to practice. You make of that what you will. Just leave already, fucker nut. Someone seems to have cheered up. Fuck off. Sure, see you later. Don't forget to talk to Shoichi yourself before... Dear God, shut up and leave me alone already. Alright. Yeah, there's only so much I can do about him right now. He's a tougher nut to crack after all. I guess him and Shoichi are very similar in that regard. A few minutes later. Do you want to join us for practice, Shoichi? Ritsu looks at me expectantly, lagging behind the other team members on their way to get warmed up before practice. Thankfully, their intervention tapered off once Ritsu noticed how conflicted I was, quickly goading everyone into warming up to redirect them away from the subject at hand, though he clearly hasn't given up on his original intention. And neither has Ryo for judging him quietly, staring at me from a corner while stretching. Sorry, Ritsu, I have a lot to think about. Alright, but don't you go quitting while I'm not looking, otherwise I'll drag you back here by the ear. Or get Ryo to do it. Noted. Knowing them, I don't doubt it for a second. Still, watching my teammates warming up, stretching, and practicing without me being a part of them, it hurts a lot more than I thought it would. This is why I've been avoiding it for so long. I couldn't summon the strength to quit until now, but I also knew that coming back here, knowing that I had to, would only make it worse. In the end, I've been weak. I don't have the strength to do as I'm told and leave, nor do I have the courage to stand up for myself and stay. It's a very pathetic state of affairs. And here I've been giving you grief for not taking things seriously the past few years, when at the end of the day, I'm an even bigger coward. At least he managed to pick himself back up and face forward again. You never would have guessed that he's been hesitating this whole time. Meanwhile, I hide behind my convenient excuses and refuse to be honest about what I really want. All because what? There's nothing that can be done about it? That's pathetic. I can't bring myself to try, because what happens if I don't succeed? I've gone against Dad for nothing, and all I'll have left is the memory of him telling me it was a pointless effort in the first place. I know he's looking out for me. I know the safe choice is to go along with him. I'll have a safety net and everything. But I don't want that. If only I could... Snapped out of my thoughts when someone passes by me, brushing against my shoulder, nearly knocking me off balance. But be careful! Haruki-kun? Oh, you're back. Aren't you going to join them? Wolf looks away from me, his eyes lingering on the other members of the club for a few seconds before he instead sits on the floor next to me, leaning against the wall. I guess that's a no. I really don't know how to talk to him. Instead, I do as he's doing, staying rooted to the spot, merely watching everyone practice without me. Seems they're doing passing drills right now while Coach is instructing them and giving everyone advice. Ritsu is helping the freshmen along and making sure everyone's working hard, serving as the coach's aide like he and I usually do. Although, only I'm not a part of it anymore. It hurts. Hey. Are you really going to quit? I have to. Liar. You promised. Liar? He speaks so quietly that I'm not even sure I heard him correctly at first. I turned my head to face him, seeing the wolf shaking next to me. His eyes stuck to the floor. Can't even tell what kind of face he's making, but his voice sounds almost hurt. You're always saying you're proud to be part of this team and that you'd work hard with everyone here. You even made me curious to know what it'd be like to be part of that, to the point I almost believed it. And now you're leaving. I didn't mean to make anyone feel bad. I don't know what to say. What I want here doesn't matter. I can make any excuse or try to make things better by telling him how much I don't want to leave, but that would be irresponsible. Telling people what I want or how I feel only makes them worry about me. So what's the point? I'm an adult. At some point I have to be responsible and do the hard thing. That's what being an adult is all about. I can't just keep making choices based on what I want. I need to think clearly and do what I have to do. Do you really not remember? I do remember giving those speeches, it's just... That's not what I'm talking about. It's not? Then I'm not sure what you mean. Forget it, it's a waste of time anyway. Dude, why do you sound so sad saying that? I don't get it. Ever since you first joined the club, you've been nothing but rude and dismissive of everything I say, picking a fight every chance you get. So why do you seem to care so much all of a sudden? Koizumi, I don't get it. Seriously? He mutters something to himself that I can't quite catch. Then, the shaking of his shoulders stops. The wolf looks up, and for the first time I see his face tinged red. The tips of his ears especially. Are you seriously going to make me say it? I don't want you to leave. The words catch in my throat. I feel an unmistakable pressure in my chest that makes it hard to breathe. He's the last person I'd expect these words from. To the point my initial thought is that he's parroting them at someone else's behest. Then I take a single look at his eyes, struggling to hold my gaze and seeking every possible means of escape as they are. And I know he means it, as much as he might hate to say it. But I thought... I'm finally feeling like maybe it's not so bad being here after all, please. Can't you give me a chance to be part of your team again? I want you to set the ball for me more. That's not fair. Even if you're saying that, what the hell what am I supposed to do? You're all so unfair. You're making it really hard for me to quit. Eldon, I said everything if you tell anyone. Wolf suddenly jumps back to his feet, promptly looking away from me. I seem to catch a trace of something wet at the corner of his eyes. He quickly rubs them with the sleeve of his shirt. Screw it, I'm sick of this. I need to hit something. Yo, Rio, toss me a few balls. We're doing passing drills right now. I'll do them later. Just let me hit a few balls. All right. Rio, don't just go along with it. If he's doing it, then I'd much rather work on spiking too. See what you've done! Seeing them all working hard like that, a smile plays about my lips. I decided to do like Haruki did, sitting against the wall and watching them for as long as I can justify it to myself. This atmosphere is not one I can get enough of. I wait around, fiddling with my phone and leaning against the walls of the front gate for what feels like an eternity. Most students have already left, even the ones who take part in extracurriculars. Hell, even Sai and Keikun are already gone, having spent some time waiting with me before ultimately saying their farewells for the day. Granted, Sai seemed mostly interested in asking me how the situation with Shoichi's teammates went. Had I not stopped her, she likely would have went into the men's locker room and marched onto the courts herself to see what the holdup was. It is only now, with the sun already setting, that the members of the men's volleyball team begin to trickle out of the building. I quickly shove my phone back into my pocket, watching several of volleyball team members pass me by in groups, happily chatting with one another as they do so. Several of them give me a quick nod of acknowledgement, likely due to my presence during their conversation with Shoichi earlier today. Of course, I return the gesture, but it's not like I'm becoming friends with them anytime soon. Shoichi, though, is nowhere to be seen until seemingly everyone else has left. It is only when I see the volleyball team's coach leaving and locking up the building that I notice Shoichi following behind him. I can only hear some incoherent mumbles as the two say their farewells, with Shoichi heading my way while the coach heads back to the school building. The moment his eyes are no longer the coach, however, Shoichi's polite expression transforms into a wry, conflicted smile. However, the moment he notices me waiting around, his expression shifts once more to one of surprise. Quickly wave at him, and after hesitating for a couple seconds, Shoichi jogs the rest of the way towards me. Were you waiting around for me? Yeah, it felt wrong to go home without you somehow. Thanks, and sorry I wouldn't have taken so long if I'd known. It's okay, I figured you wanted to spend some time with your team. I wouldn't want to intrude. Thank you. Wait. You smell nice. As if noticing something, Shoichi stops talking, stepping closer to me and audibly sniffing the air. A little gesture makes my face grow flushed, but I keep my composure, pushing him back a little. Yeah, I was hanging around the locker room so long that it started feeling a bit icky. Keikun lent me some of his shampoo and stuff since I don't usually bring any. It's really fancy stuff, so no wonder I smell nice now. So you showered in school? How bold. Don't make a big deal out of it. I just didn't want to stew in my own sweaty clothes for God knows how long. Fair enough. Should we get going? Yeah, sure. Do you want to get something to eat? Sorry I left it past. Today was a lot. I need some time to myself. That's alright. Sorry, by the way. I know I shouldn't have gone behind your back, but I didn't know... Shoichi places his heavy hand on top of my head, giving me a gentle pat. Surprise of it making me forget what I was even saying. Don't worry about it. I know why you did what you did. It's a little infuriating, but it's what I love about you. Thanks. No, it's not much, but you could walk me home, that is, if you don't mind. I would love to. We can go out together some other time. Yeah, that's more like it. I'm not sure if it's okay for me to ask, but curiosity is eating me alive, so I have to. How did things go? You were with your club for a long time. Oh, it went, well, I guess. Did you? No, I didn't quit. Really? It's hard to force yourself to do things you don't want to when you're confronted with so many people basically begging you not to. The power of emotional manipulation. You really shouldn't look so proud of yourself while saying that. I'm just doing a little crime, you know, as a treat. I'm allowed, right? No. No, you're not. But I suspect you know that already. Teehee. You have way too much dick to be acting like this. That's a weird way of saying you don't think I'm cute. That's not what I... Ugh. Forget it. Not that I even want to be cute, but it's easy to mess with him like this. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, but Haruki-kun actually talked to me after that whole outburst. Oh yeah? He told me that if I told anyone about it, he'd say I'm lying, but, well, I think he would still believe me. I don't know, you might be lying. How would you even be able to tell? You're right, I guess you know me, the world's best liar. Couldn't even say that much with a straight face, huh? Nope, not even close. So anyway, what did you talk about? Try to play it cool, not letting him know just how curious I am to actually know it. It would probably also be better for him not to know I tried gently poking Haruki into actually talking to him. Of course, gently poking with all the subtlety of a baseball bat to the face, but I digress. Well, he asked me for another chance to try and be a part of the team, and for me to not quit until he's had it. He even asked me to please let him spike my tosses more. Wow. You're right. I really do not believe you. I don't blame you. I wouldn't believe me either if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. He was blushing too, which was so weird to see. Your story gets less and less believable by the second. Ha! I know, right? I know you said you didn't quit, but is that a I don't quit yet scenario, or does it mean you won't quit anymore? I'll try to convince Dad again, maybe if I plead my case well enough, or you can decide to do what you want to do and not let him bully you into giving something you love. Come on, you know how hard it is for me to do that. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, though. You are your own person, not Takahiko-san's clone. You have your own interests and priorities, plus you love saying you're an adult, so make an adult decision about your life. Yeah, I know you're right, but that doesn't make it easier. At the very least, you can ask Sachiko-san for support if your dad makes too big of a stink over it. Sure, I know I'd have Mom in my corner no matter what. I just don't know if I want to get them to start talking again for the first time in years with the fight. You think your mom would rather be kept out of the loop on decisions involving her son that she'd be deeply against? Boy, you make it hard to disagree with you. That's because I'm right and you know it. Not smug at all about it, are you? I like to think I'm a humble man, soul of a samurai and all that. Yeah, I'm not touching that. Either way, there's a lot for me to think about. Even if it sounds easy, doesn't mean it is easy to do it. I mean, if you truly didn't care what other people think or say about how you live your life, you'd have told your mom we're in a relationship already, right? That's not even remotely the same thing. Isn't it? It's an important part of your life that you presumably care a lot about, and you want to continue no matter what other people think of it, but even though you know your mom would be supportive, you still don't tell her. We've literally had this conversation before. Yeah, but the reason I don't tell isn't because I'm afraid she's some kind of secret raging homophobe, it's because I'm embarrassed. You're embarrassed of dating me. That's not how I meant. I mean, I already told you I'm working up the courage to tell Mom. I want to tell her, but you can't look me in the eye and tell me that's what she's expecting of me. It's always a little weird to go against what your parents want for you. That's why I can sympathize with your situation, but in the end, you have to do what's best for you. I guess you're right. Sorry for taking it the wrong way. I guess I'm a bit sensitive about that kind of thing. I promise you, I have nothing to be ashamed of, not when it comes to dating you. I appreciate it. It does make me feel better to hear. Good. Job well done, I say. Well, I guess I'm home now. Yeah, I guess so. You know, all things considered, thanks for talking some sense into me, even if you had to be a bit sneaky to get it done. You've given me a lot to think about. Of course, at the very least, we're still in high school. It's not like we're juggling a bunch of critical problems or anything. You have time to think things through, one world-ending issue at a time. I suppose not that many fires to put out and all. Granted, you do juggle an inordinate number of important positions. Mr. Class President, Student Council President, Volleyball Team Captain, Straight A's Student. Okay, I get it, you're giving me a headache by listing all of them. I didn't even get into the tutoring and cram school. I'm begging you here. Alright, I'll stop. Shoichi and I stopped by the front gate, hesitating for a second while glancing at the door. I'd invite you to come in, but I'm not sure if I'd be welcome. Takehiko-san wasn't exactly happy with me the last time I came over. Well, I don't expect him to be home right now, but yeah, if he came home and you were still here, it could be bad. I understand. Better let some more time pass before I try dropping by again. Thank you for understanding. That's quite alright. Shoichi turns away from me, unlatching and opening the noisy gate, but I grab his hand and pull him back toward me before he has the chance to step inside. You? Sorry, but... I quickly close the distance between us after having a cursory look around to make sure no one can see us. The upside of living in these kind of suburban streets. Sho's eyes grow wide as I kiss him, but he quickly melts into my embrace, reciprocating the gesture all too eagerly. Our tongues dance around for a few seconds, battling for dominance before eventually pulling away, leaving us somewhat short on breath. That's twice today now, you sure are getting bolder. Hey, I made sure to check our surroundings first, you can't call me reckless this time. Guess not. It's your fault for getting me too into it. I wouldn't want to leave without having a goodbye kiss first. Is that what this is about? Well, I'm certainly not complaining. Do need to get going, though. At the very least, I should have a better look at my schedule and see how I can... I don't feel comfortable saying that. How I can rework it to carve out some time for volleyball practice. Of course. That takes priority right now. I love you, you. Love you too. Shoichi gives me one last peck on the lips before turning around and walking through the gate, closing it behind him. You should really grease that thing up. I'm surprised the neighbors haven't started complaining with how loud it is. I was supposed to do it, but I keep forgetting about it. Dad's been complaining about it a lot too. Guess I'll get to it as soon as I settle inside. Watch him close the gate behind him and walk toward the door before I turn around myself and start on my way home. Man, I never thought I would get so attached like that. I used to think Shoichi was way too clingy over the years, even when he'd framed it as being casual kinship. But now I desperately wish he'd cling to me more. Guess I'm getting a taste of how he felt all this time, even if it's a small one. I really am down bad, huh? Shouldn't focus on that, though. For now, I should probably thank Kiga-kun and Haruki for their help today. And let Kiga-kun know that he doesn't need to sick the student council on Shoichi to get him to take it easier. If he plays his cards right, he could potentially convince Shoichi to actually relax and let the other members of the council help more. That might actually help a lot with carving more time for himself in the volleyball club. By the way, I don't have their phone numbers, do I? Gah, Yuichi, you moron. Learn to ask people for their contact information. Oh no. I closed the door behind me, quickly taking off my shoes at the entrance and stepping indoors, rubbing the back of my neck to try and deal with the soreness I've been feeling. Perhaps sitting on the floor for hours with my back hunched wasn't the greatest of ideas. When I begin to exhale and relax, I hear a croaking sound that catches my attention. I turned my head to face it, seeing Dad standing by the front window, holding the drapes slightly parted with one hand while frowning. His nostrils more flared than I've ever seen them before. Oh, hey Dad, I didn't know you were home. We needed to talk. Care to explain why I just saw you and Michi Miyakun kissing on the street? Twice. The moment I hear that, I feel my world crashing down around me, and my bag slips out of my hand, falling to the floor and spilling my notebooks and stationery all over. Come again? I want to punch him. I want to punch him. I want to punch him. On a scale from 1 to 10, my friends were fucked. Anyways, that's something. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.